Hello, Starshine friends. Once in a great while, I allow my husband to use my sewing room. Well, maybe more than once in a while. But today, he is finishing a stole for a Civil Air Patrol chaplain. The stole is a badge of office for the ordained clergy that dates back to about the 6th century. Origins of the stole goes back to at least the time of the prophet Elijah, when his cloak and prophetic powers were passed to Elijah, which can be found in the 2nd chapter of 2 Kings in the Holy Bible. So enjoy watching my husband making a stole. Thank you.
Well, here we are down in the Mount Fabric Workshop. Several weeks ago, we went to Brooklyn Park and bought fabric, which you can see over here on the table. This is going to be used to make several stoles for various projects. The first stole that I'm finishing is one that I started a few weeks ago for a chaplain in Kentucky. It's a camouflage stole that will be used as part of field worship services. One of the things about making stoles is getting the length correct. The camouflage stole, which of course is not finished yet, but will be in a few minutes, is about 56 inches long, and unfortunately you can't see it on this particular screen because I'm a little bit too close to the screen, but it comes about mid-calf. I was trying to make another style of stole for the same chaplain in blue and gray, and unfortunately finding the proper fabric via the internet is impossible. The one company that we purchased from via a major corporation, which I won't name, they cut into 1-yard segments. The fabric frays badly and is about 42 inches long, which comes mid-thigh, which is too short for the project, pure and simple. So we wasted, I don't know, $10 per yard and a number of hours of work just because the fabric was so bad and so short. So the first thing we're looking for as we're doing these stoles is the proper length of fabric. And again, I'm looking for anywhere from 52 to 56 inches long. The other project that I'm looking at is a copy of this stole, which I designed in the early 1990s or late 1880s, early 1990s, to commemorate what we call the firestorm in Kansas. There's been about 12 or 13 of these over the course of years. This one is machine applique, and we're going to do the replica with machine embroidery. Excuse me. We're going to do the next one with machine embroidery because it's a little bit easier and gives a nicer stole overall. Again, this one is about 56 inches, I believe. And again, a pretty good length. Yeah, 56 inches total. So, and then the third set of stoles that I'm making are reversible for Ministry to the Armed Forces Lutheran Church Missouri Synod, where I've digitized the Ministry to the Armed Forces logo and a Jerusalem cross, which is going to go on to white fabric, which we have here, and then the reversible being the red, green, white, and purple that we bought in Brooklyn Center, or Brooklyn Park. So that's what the project is, and we're going to get started in a few minutes. It's always easier when you're cutting lengths like 56, 54 inches to have help. So that's where we are, and we'll be starting in a few minutes. Thank you. So the first project we're going to finish today is this camouflage stole, which I got the machine embroidery done a while ago. We were trying to find the proper gray fabric for the second stole for this chaplain, and I'm still not happy with the color we have, but this particular order has been sitting here for several months, and I really want to get it out the door. So even though we don't have exactly the right color gray, we're going to be doing a blue and gray reversible stole for a Civil Air Patrol chaplain. But I'm giving him this camouflage stole as well, which has been embroidered, and as you'll notice, a 90-degree miter at the top of the stole. So the first thing we're going to do is pin the two halves of the stole together so that we can actually go in and sew. And I'll be doing that face-to-face on here. We'll be sewing using probably the Little Brother sewing machine, which is a phenomenal little beast. And the big problem on these stoles, after you get them sewn together, is turning them inside out, or right side out, and then getting them ironed properly. So I'm not going to bore you with the pinning or the ironing to get ready to sew, but I'll go ahead and have the video running as we're sewing as well. So that's where we are. Thank you. Okay, well here we are at the sewing machine. This happens to be a Brother Project Runway, which we bought after the house fire. That's about 6 years old now. A neat little machine, surprisingly accurate, surprisingly robust. We've had other Brother machines that have been just as good and actually worn them out with several thousand hours of sewing. So I'm very happy with this one. It's also very easy to keep the stitches aligned. The edge of the foot to the edge of the slightly offset needle is right on a 1/4 inch, a little bit over, which is perfect for these stoles. So as long as I can keep the edge of the stole on the 1/4 inch, I'm very happy. Okay, we're ready to start sewing. I always like to start at the point and work down. And coming in about a 1/4 inch, always lock the stitches both on the beginning and end of the line. So let's go ahead and get started. And these are kind of a pain to work with in some respects because of the length. So, which is 56 inches approximately. So that's what's happening. Well, let's go to work. There's not much to see here, really. Want to make sure that you don't go past the seam on the point. Otherwise, it's impossible to get a nice, clean point on the end of the miter when you turn this inside out. And we found that if you sew the inside with a bit of a gap to close by hand later, you can get a pointer in there to actually get the miter out very well. I've considered using a serger for this, but it makes for a little bit bulkier seam, and that's not a good thing. Okay, we are ready to take the pins out and turn the stole right side in. So, let me go ahead and stop the video at this point, and we're going to be doing some editing. And we'll get you set up when we have the pins out and we're starting to turn this right side in. There's some trim that I need to do on the points of the stole to be ready to turn it inside out, or right side out, whatever direction I'm turning it. Okay. In the end, this may become a two-person job, but I'll start it myself just because I'm being oppositional defiant. The problem is we don't have a large turning stick, and I haven't been able to come up with one that works real well. I've tried double rods, I've tried yardsticks, both metal and wood, and nothing really works as well as just sticking your fingers in and pulling. But it's time consuming, and when you get to the miter itself, unless you're very careful, you can pull out the stitches. So, this is the semi-finished stole. There's a little bit of work to do yet, specifically to get the point out, but we left some room for the stick to go in here, and we'll be able to get that plugged in. So, there it is. In we go, and push the point out, theoretically. Grab Jack the Ripper and drag it out a little bit before we use the pointed stick. And I think that's about as good as we're going to get it. So, the completed stole, after I iron it, about 56 inches long, and that's what it's going to look like. Thank you. Okay, the last part of the project, now that the stole has been turned right side in and ironed, It does look a lot better now that it's ironed, I do have to admit. Last thing we have to do is take the ends and turn them in about a ½ inch, and then I will sew them shut with just a straight stitch, and we should be ready to ship the stole to the Kentucky Wing Chaplain, actually to the Kentucky Wing Civil Air Patrol Commander, Colonel Jamie Henson, who will then present these stoles to the chaplain at her convenience. So, this has been a really fun project. Thank you for being part of it. And we'll be starting the gray and white stoles, or the gray and blue stoles, probably later today. And we'll go through the cutting and measuring process on those. So we'll talk to you later. Thanks. Bye.